The past couple of weeks have been packed with some exciting Xbox and Game Pass announcements, and I'm getting seriously hyped for this holiday season. With so much news, it's easy to miss quite a few of these big reveals, so today I'll be breaking down 15 of the biggest announcements that you'll definitely want to know about. Be sure as well to watch out for their Xbox Game Pass icon too, since several of these titles are also heading straight onto the service. With that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation, and let's dive into all the latest Xbox news coming your way. First up, we probably have one of my favourite announcements on this entire list. If you're like me and love the PTSD war simulator known as Hell Let Loose, then you can get extremely excited as Hell Let Loose Vietnam is coming to our Xbox Series consoles next year. Of course, this one is actually described as having the same high caliber gameplay as the first entry, and the publisher have also added that it would include an authentic, atmospheric and historically sensitive experience of the events that did occur during the Vietnam War. The new gameplay that we've seen so far has us utilising combined arms with air, water, armor, infantry and even support weapons. It really looks to encapsulate that damning nature of the warfare in that era, and if Team 17 can really nail that on the head, then we have another multiplayer FPS gem on our hands. In case you missed the news a couple of days ago now, we have a brand new game joining Xbox Game Pass this November. After the decision to scrap Football Manager 25, the devs have finally returned and Football Manager 26 was finally revealed. There are a wealth of improvements here across the board, and that's not only visually on the pitch, but also in terms of its UI, gameplay elements, and so much more. I've actually been following the reaction online for this one over the past couple of days, and it seems like the community sentiment is extremely positive, with many in awe about how much of an improvement this is over the leaked FM25 footage and also screenshots. The best thing is that this newest entry will also be available day one with Xbox Game Pass on both console and PC, so I know many of you will be absolutely buzzing with this announcement. Arctic Awakening is a bloody gorgeous indie game that I've been following for quite a while, but we finally had the announcement that it's coming to our Xbox consoles and the launch is just around the corner. If this one gives you massive Firewatch vibes, then I really don't blame you, as it's really sort of looking to hit those same notes pretty hard, but this time within a snowy and eerie environment. It stars the main protagonist called Kai after he crash lands into a snowy plane and he's stranded, and basically his mission is to find his missing co-pilot named Donovan. Of course, it will look to feature a ton of different secrets, mysteries and surprises as we aim to survive in that harsher landscape. It looks absolutely incredible and does also include a lot of talent from Telltale, Marvel, LucasArts and so much more. I am actually currently reviewing the game prior to its launch, so definitely check back on the 17th of September if you want to hear more. Now, Commando's Origins is already available on both the Xbox Series consoles and also Xbox Game Pass, and to some pretty great reviews. However, an announcement that did come out over the past couple of weeks is that Commando's Origins is now arriving for the Xbox One consoles, and yes, it will also be on Xbox Game Pass for all of you who still use the last generation of consoles. This not only means that you're getting one of the best strategy games on Xbox currently, but you're also getting it as part of that awesome subscription. For me, I really did enjoy Commando's Origins for what it was, but do be warned, it didn't have the strongest story, and the UI can still be a little bit finicky, especially on console. Still, it's a pretty good game to try, and I'm happy that you Xbox One owners can get a chance to play it. Another awesome game that is also landing onto Xbox Game Pass in the next month is Bounty Star, and that's some very big news as it's actually been quite a while of hearing practically nothing about this upcoming game. This game now looks to have a real mix of third-person mech fighting action and also crafting your very own home base. You basically take on the role of a broken but powerful ex-soldier named Clem as she attempts to shed the guilt and shame of her past and become a legitimate force for good in the Red Expanse. From doing some digging, the gameplay looks to consist of sort of going out and taking out those evildoers, and that's that style of bounty mission, thus the game's name. It looks pretty cool so far, and it is up for pre-download right now on your Xbox consoles. Yes, it will also launch, as I mentioned, day one onto Xbox Game Pass, so it's definitely worth keeping on your radar. Forgive Me Father 2 is finally making its way to consoles this month, and fans of horror shooters have every reason to be excited. This new game though really does expand on everything that made the original so unforgettable, and so far it looks bloody amazing. You basically step into a terrifying Lovecraftian world where madness lurks in every shadow, and continue the gripping story of the priest as he battles cultists and nightmarish creatures. It still has its sort of distinctive and dark comic book art style, alongside a brand new arsenal of devastating weapons and also a dynamic madness system. Honestly, it looks like Forgive Me Father 2 is really giving us an adrenaline-fueled chaos and haunting atmospheric experience in quite equal measure. This is one game that you definitely won't want to miss, but talking about not missing things, definitely check this next one out. I've just launched a brand new website for Xbox Nation, and it's totally ad-free. I wanted to make a space where I can provide you with all the Xbox news, reviews and updates for free when I can't add them into these videos. If you do want to support me and our small little team over there, just head over and check it out. But if you aren't interested in the website, still do subscribe, as it's massively appreciated as we grow closer to 100,000 subscribers. With that though, let's dive right back into these awesome game announcements coming your way for the remainder of this year and into 2026. You may be familiar with the game studio known as Wargaming, as they're actually the same team behind the popular World of Tanks. Well, in a twist that I really wasn't expecting, they did announce World of Tanks Heat, and this is a new standalone spin-off from the popular free-to-play Tank Battler, where basically you'll be outfitting your tank with customized weaponry and also a special pilot before trundling onto battle. The studio didn't actually share a release date for World of Tanks Heat yet, but when the game does launch, it will do so simultaneously for both PC and Xbox, with full crossplay and cross-progression. Instead of piloting realistic tanks though from the World War II era and beyond, we basically take charge of new creative reinterpretations of post-war designs, and then customize them with different armor, weapons, visual mods and other abilities. It does seem pretty weird to see an Overwatch-like take on the World of Tanks, but hey, I'm kind of keen to hear your thoughts on this in the comments below. Now, I did cover this next game on our brand new website, and this is a potential new addition to the Xbox Game Pass library coming very soon. As part of a big surprise over the previous weekend, a notification popped up for many on the official Xbox mobile app, and it was claiming that Supermarket Simulator was already available on Xbox Game Pass. This message actually turned out to be a mistake, but it may have spilled the beans on what's to come to the service. Games really don't typically launch on Game Pass over the weekend, which does make the timing of the alert a clear slip-up. However, these sort of kinds of accidental notifications have a track record of hinting at future releases. For example, the same thing happened with Shadow Warrior 3 back in 2023, and also with Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Edition, with both coming true in the next couple of months after these notifications. Outbound is looking like such a gorgeous open world experience, including the likes of exploration, crafting and adventure. This will note is set in a utopian near future where you start with nothing more than an empty camper van. From the research that I've done, you will basically transform this humble vehicle into the home of your dreams, as you'll be exploring vibrant, colourful biomes at your own pace, either solo or with your friends. The game will also look to challenge us to adapt to shifting landscapes and also environmental conditions, blending open world exploration with some quite deep crafting mechanics. Honestly, I really love the look of Outbound, and I really do get excited with the promises of a refreshing twist on these home building genre. You can look forward to this innovative new title on both of the Xbox Series consoles sometime in 2026. Talking of innovative titles though, you definitely need to check out this next game. Satisfactory is finally coming to consoles this November, and the Xbox crowd has plenty of reasons to celebrate. This open world factory builder blends first-person exploration with deep automation systems, and it really challenges you to tame alien worlds by constructing massive production lines and then fine-tuning them into energy networks. Since its full 1.0 launch on PC back in 2024, the game has continued to expand with new features, quality of life upgrades, and also blueprint tools that make building smoother than ever before. Now finally, all of us Xbox players get our turn to experience that balance of designing a perfectly optimized industrial complex, and that's while braving the untamed wilderness. If you do want to check out some more about Satisfactory coming to Xbox, head over to my website, as I did a bit more of a deep dive on this game coming very soon. I've already covered a few indie games coming out to Xbox this September in past videos, but one title I haven't talked much about, and that's been getting some buzz as well, is called Moon Mystery. It's a really interesting blend of FPS and puzzle gameplay that originally launched on PC late last October. Reviews though are pretty scattered across the board. There aren't many critic reviews out there, but on Steam it's sitting at a kind of mixed rating from around 500 players. Feedback though does range anywhere from amazing to terrible, so it does seem like one of those games that you'll want to approach with some curiosity, but maybe also a bit of caution. Now, if you enjoy titles like World War 1 Verdun, Tannenberg or even Insonso, then you'll definitely want to stick around for this next game, because it's going to get you pretty excited. Developer Black Mill Games, who are responsible for the World War I series, have now announced a brand new shooter, and it will be coming to Xbox in early 2026. World War I Gallipoli is the next entry, and it's set to take us across the windswept beaches of Dardanelles to the expansive rolling deserts. Of course, this is a multiplayer first experience, as we're seeing in games like Hell Let Loose. However, there are also options for custom matches and bots if you do prefer. The devs have stated that this is the most immersive and intense depiction of World War I yet, as they really wanted to utilize as much power from the current generation of consoles and also PC. I am super excited that we're getting loads of these sort of authentic World War I and World War II era shooters coming back into the fray. This generation has been fantastic for them, and I can't wait to dive into this new one early next year. It was back in June that we finally got our first look at the next James Bond game, called 007 First Light, and it finally received though a special PlayStation State of Play showcase a few days back, featuring 30 minutes of brand new footage. As you'd expect from IO Interactive, there's a very Hitman feel to 007 First Light, based on what we've actually seen so far, but it also does clearly feature plenty of unique aspects as well, with a much more action-adventure flavour than just pure stealth. The visuals though are definitely a notable step up from the Hitman games, with the driving scenes in particular seeming rather impressive. Although I do have to state that performance at the moment seems to be very wobbly at times in this early glimpse. It kind of reminds me though of Hitman mixed with Uncharted, which is a pretty cool idea in itself. Still, it lands onto Xbox as of March 2026, but I'm curious, will you be stepping into the shoes of James Bond? I'm keen to hear your thoughts on that presentation down below. As part of today's Nintendo Direct livestream, Square Enix has finally revealed the release date for Final Fantasy VII Remake on our Xbox consoles. Yes, part 1 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake will hit the Xbox Series consoles on the 22nd of January, which also marks around 5 years after its original release. With the first portion of Square's FF7 Remake now locked in for Xbox, I'm actually keen to see when part 2 finally arrives. A recent report also suggested that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is also due for the Xbox Series consoles, so hopefully we can almost play the first 2 Final Fantasy VII Remake titles back to back on our Xbox consoles. There are also some very cool bonuses to be had with the Xbox release. So first off, the Final Fantasy VII Remake is also Xbox Play Anywhere compatible, and if you buy the game before the end of January next year, you'll also get a free copy of the original Final Fantasy VII. It's a pretty cool deal, and the game is now live to pre-order on the Xbox Store right now. Koei Tecmo also announced that Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly, the second installment in the Fatal Frame series, is getting a full-blown remake, and that remake is heading to Xbox in early 2026. Crimson Butterfly will be getting a proper redo, with the team describing the upcoming remake as a complete overhaul, with improvements to everything from visuals and audio to the core gameplay systems and even controls. We don't have a more nailed on release date for this one as of yet, but early 2026 really isn't far off, and I'm kind of excited to experience even more Japanese horror games on our Xbox consoles. With Silent Hill F and Resident Evil Requiem arriving in the coming months too, Japanese horror fans are really eating good right now on Xbox consoles. So what game announcement has you incredibly intrigued? I would be keen to hear your thoughts and have a discussion about it in the comments below. Whilst you're here, do remember to smash that like button if you enjoy videos like this, and also subscribe as we're on our way to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. If you do want to check out some more awesome Xbox content, do check out our website as I mentioned previously, and also check out the video on screen now, as I did cover some awesome sales that are happening in the Xbox store right now that you definitely won't want to miss.